years back, if you would have seen any civil aviation topic that has been discussed in the House, the participants were mainly coming from technical background, or they were coming from these major metropolitan cities where the presence of airports has been maximum. But yesterday, if you had witnessed the debate for 5 hours, we have seen from the length and breadth of this country, from the remotest areas of this country, from the most backward areas of this country, people have passionately, honorable members have spoken on this bill, and that is the change this government has brought in, and the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has brought in to the civil aviation, sir. Civil aviation has witnessed unimaginable growth in the last 10 years since Modi ji has taken charge as the Prime Minister of the country. He had a special focus, he had a special vision for the civil aviation industry, and because of which he understood the importance of improving the infrastructure in civil aviation. That is why what was 74 airports in 2014 has gone up to 157 airports, more than doubled in this country today, sir. And if you look at the passenger growth in this country, 60 million passengers were there domestically in 2014, which has gone up to 153 million, which has more than doubled in 2024, sir. And also international passengers from 43 million have grown up to 66.7 million. And you know, it's like any travel industry which took a big hit during the COVID time, aviation also took a big hit. Even though it took a big hit, within 3 years, it stood back on its feet. It not only crossed the pre-COVID numbers, sir, we are at an all-time high in the passenger growth in the country, and today we stand as the 3rd largest aviation economy in the whole world, and that is the change Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has brought in the last 10 years for the civil aviation ministry. And also I would like to thank all the previous ministers who have worked on this, especially my predecessor Jyotiraditya Scindia ji, who has constantly worked for the upliftment of the civil aviation ministry and brought in a lot of policy changes. And in fact, I would also like to remember our honorable previous minister Ashok Gajpati Raju ji, who was also there handling this, and who was from our party also at that time, sir. And with this growth, it is very important we look into the future also. This is not just for the 10 years that we are proud of. Where we are in the 3rd place right now, we, under the honorable leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, want to see India become the #1 in the domestic economy, sir. And if you want to see India in that #1 position, there has to be proper legislative backing. There has to be good policy making. There has to be good policy which drives the civil aviation industry in that direction. And that is where this Bharatiya Vayuyan Videk comes into play, and which is why I would like to go a little bit more detail into the bill also, sir. Now this Bharatiya Vayuyan Videk, इसकी जो इससे पहले जो एक्ट थी, Indian Aircraft Act 1934, this was a pre-independence era act, sir. Under the British rule, this act was formed, and the act was promulgated because of an international aircraft convention which was formed in 1919. 1919 में जो convention बना था, उसके हिसाब से Indian Aircraft Bill 1934 pre-independence era में हम लेके आए, और उसके बाद 1944 में एक शिकागो कन्वेंशन भी आया. शिकागो कन्वेंशन आने के बाद आईकेओ का फॉर्मेशन हुआ. आईकेओ जो है इंटरनेशनल सिविल एविएशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. आईकेओ ऐसी बॉडी बनी कि यूएन की एक एजेंसी थी, यूनाइटेड नेशंस की, और ये शिकागो कन्वेंशन के बाद जो आईकेओ बना, आईकेओ में 193 कंट्रीज उसके हिस्से थे, और regularly all these 193 countries used to sit, discuss, deliberate and formulate these standard and recommended practices, which are again supposed to be implemented by all the member countries within the ICAO. And India has also been a very strong participant of this ICAO, sir, and we have tried to formulate our own laws by harmonizing whatever the SARPs, that is the standards and recommended protocols, are there from the ICAO. And this has been happening for a long time. And while we have been doing this, sir, the 1934 Act which was there, it was amended 21 times. And it was amended in such a way that whenever some SARP, new SARP was coming in, we were just attaching it to the old bill. There was no proper structure. And in the end, right now, the way it has become is that there is no clarity. There is a lot of ambiguity in the existing act that is there right now, and there is a lot of confusion, and in some places there is a lot of redundancy also. There have become so many subordinate legislations that have been brought in, so many rules that have been brought in, so many regulations that have been brought in. So there was no proper structure for the whole act, which is why a proper structural difference was supposed to be brought in, and which was done with the formation of this new Videyak, which is Bharatiya Vayan Videyak, sir. And like I said, the first thing we have tried to address is structurize the whole bill. And we have structurized by giving DGCA a separate chapter. We have told what is DGCA and what are the powers of DGCA, which is the Director General of Civil Aviation. And also we have BCAS, which is Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. Similarly, we have another separate structure for it, a separate chapter, and also the functions and the powers have been properly listed out. And also AIB, which is Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, and powers of central government. जो पहले ऐसा होता था कि पावर्स कहीं और लिखे हुए हैं और इसके जो फंक्शंस है कहीं और लिखे हुए हैं, रूल्स कहीं और लिखे हुए हैं, तो आईकेओ का भी ऑब्जर्वेशन था कि सब एक प्रिंसिपल एक्ट में होना चाहिए जो एक हार्मनी क्रिएट करता है सिविल एविएशन का. तो वो हार्मनी हम लेके आए हैं सर अभी ये सिविल एविएशन में इस बिल के तहत. एंड अदर देन दिस we have tried to reduce the redundancies और जो gaps होते थे पहले इसके एक्ट में उसको भी हम करने की कोशिश ये भारतीय वायुयान विधेयक के साथ हम लेके आए. इसके बाद दूसरी चीज जो definitions हमने ऐड किया, we have brought in definitions for design, maintenance and manufacture into the bill. जो previous bill था Indian Aircraft Act, तो उसमें we didn't have design at all, we didn't have the word maintenance at all. And there was just manufacture as a word, but it was not defined. But today, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji, we see a strong sense of Atmanirbharta being formed in this country, sir. And civil aviation taking an inspiration from that Atmanirbharta, we are imagining, we are trying to achieve a position for India in the future where not only we are operating planes in this country, we are designing planes, we are manufacturing planes, and we want to export planes to the whole world also, and that is the situation we want to create, and that is going to happen, exactly that is going to happen because of this Bharat Vayan Videyak that is going to come, sir. And especially the word design we have added. The design, adding of the word design is going to create an area where a lot of industry players are going to come, which is going to improve the design area of the manufacturing, sir. Already HAL is manufacturing Hindustan 228, which is a 19-seater plane. Dhruv is there from HAL, which is a 14-seater helicopter. And also NAL is also making another plane. Now, if you add this, if you bring in these changes in the legislation, then the state of design, ICAO will recognize India as a state of design, which will improve our prospects globally also, sir. To bring in talent which will attract in creating design here, and also whatever we design or manufacture, that is also going to be accepted worldwide also. So it was very important for us at this stage, the changes that is happening throughout the country, it was very important for us to define design, maintenance and manufacture, which is the major driver in the civil aviation sector today, sir. And that is what we have brought in to the bill also today. And the other one, before bringing this bill here, lot of wide consultations have happened, both internally and externally also. From the public, we have received the feedback. From internally, DGCA, BCAS, AI, ERA, AIB, and also externally, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs, Finance Ministry, DPIIT, Department of Telecom. All these were widely consulted and all their feedback was taken in before we have brought in this Bharatiya Vayan Videyak into the August House, sir. And another important feature that this bill is addressing, this is a feedback that we have received from the pilots, especially the pilots who are getting trained and trying to obtain their CPL license, commercial pilot license. Sir, before they obtain this commercial pilot license, there is one certificate that is required, which is the radio telephony certificate. This RTR, radio telephony restricted certificate, which was supposed to be given on the basis of the previous act, this was supposed to be given by Department of Telecom. Now, once before obtaining the CPL, they had to go to Department of Telecom and get this license. Once they get the license from Department of Telecom, they come back to DGCA, which is under the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and they get flight radio telephony operator license. Once they get the flight telephony operator's license, then they again get the commercial pilot license, which is the CPL. Now, this process of going to two departments just for that certificate for radio telephony, there was a lot of feedback from the pilots and especially that industry, the training industry, that this is creating a lot of problem for them. Now, going through two departments, the chair would also know how difficult the system gets over the years when there are different kinds of people. And especially DGCA has the expertise for the radio telephony in aviation, which is why it has the capacity to give flight radio telephony operator's license. So the feedback from the industry has been that why don't you shift this from the Department of Telecom and put it within the Ministry of Civil Aviation? And with this bill, we have addressed that feedback, sir, and we have shown that this is a government which listens to the public, which does what the public needs, and that is the change that we have brought in this bill also.